Welcome to the Women's College Institutional Type Presentation by Rachel Beach, Naya Henson, Carmen Hoffman, Lindsay Snyder, and Jenny Trimble. The idea of educating women in colonial America was not widely accepted. Many held the idea that educating women would force them beyond their physical capacity, as they were not capable of intellectual thought. Women's colleges were founded to create access for women who were being excluded from higher education. Many of these colleges evolved from prominent seminary institutions. Catherine E. Beecher was one of the first to push for these seminary institutions to operate like colleges. She called for proper endowments, buildings, and liberal arts education curriculum. As these seminary institutions were running, the debate for equal education of women and men was started in 1825. Duncan G. Campbell from the Georgia legislature proposed to establish a public seat of learning for females. This was widely unsupported, and the bill was defeated in the Senate. The founding of Vassar College in 1865 is regarded as the first women's college that had a comparable curriculum and education to male colleges. Most of the early women's colleges varied in their purpose. Some operated on an open admissions, others were more selective. Some were independent, and other colleges were religiously affiliated. Some operated with a liberal arts focus, and others were geared towards vocational training. In the 1930s, co-education became more widely accepted as public land-grant institutions were funded. 300 women's colleges existed in the 1950s, and 37 currently exist today. Women's colleges began to turn into co-ed admissions as they faced economic difficulty in the changing social landscape. Student profile of women's colleges varies because each of the colleges varied in their purpose. Many argued that the original women's colleges were created for the rich and affluent because of their tuition prices. There were also some historically black colleges that were only for women. Some of these include Bennett College. There is also currently an enrollment that is up in women's colleges, and some contemporary alumni include Gloria Steinem, Hillary Clinton, and Alice Walker. Women's colleges were established to provide educational opportunities for women who were previously denied access in the higher education system. The remaining women's colleges that persevered throughout fiscal troubles and enrollment declines tend to agree that the need for women's colleges to provide access to education in America is now obsolete. The purpose of the women's college today is more cultural. The goal is to provide an education for students that is women-centered and not available at a coeducational institution. According to Dr. Emily Langton, women's colleges have documented an affable and more favorable climate, resulting in female students having higher self-confidence and more involvement in the classroom and on campus. Providing successful academic role models for female students and focusing on mentorship helps encourage women to embrace their intelligence and ability to contribute. These role models and mentors can include female faculty, administrators, and peers. Facilitating various and challenging leadership opportunities for women helps build a confidence and community for students. Developing curricular opportunities for women and encouraging involvement in male-dominated fields such as science, technology, engineering, and math will help bridge the gender inequality gap within these types of careers. Women's education as a whole persists in putting the education of the women first and serve as a diverse part of higher education. These women-centered institutions are examples of how coeducational colleges and universities can better support equity for women in education. It is fair to state that women's-only colleges are very healthy even in today's competing market. The top 5 women's colleges as of 2017 were Wellesley College, Smith College, Bryn Mawr College, Barnard College, and Meredith College. All of these colleges are competing within private and co-ed institutions. In an article by Hillman and Marks in 2018, women's colleges were embracing diversity for the next generation of women leaders. Women's colleges weathered the 2008 recession well, and from 2004 to 2012 have increased their enrollment numbers by 60%. When students are researching institutions that will fit their needs and wants, they do not exclude women's colleges. Alumni speak highly of their education from various women's colleges, based on the inclusive environment but also the resources that were offered to them. Women empowering women is an impactful thing and is needed in our organizational leadership today, from small mom and pop store to million-dollar corporations and higher education institutions. Now we will take a look at some student-led college initiatives from Wellesley College. There are many college student-led initiatives that Wellesley College is incorporating and has been for many years now. Wellesley College has a sustainability policy and is listed on their website. Let's take a slightly closer look at a few of them. Wellesley College has teamed up with dining halls to eliminate plastic trays. By doing so, they have cut the amount of water and chemically based soaps they use to wash each dining hall tray, which is more than 80%. Students created a green bike share program to reduce carbon footprint on campus. Students have also initiated a green living co-op for students that are interested in living in a cohort of students that are dedicated to reducing, reusing, and maintaining a sustainable living experience on campus. The Sustainable Move Out program that was started in 2010 is a way for students to move out at the end of term, after graduation, and to donate their belongings. These include furniture, clothing, and shoes. They donate these items to a dedicated space at each residence hall to be available for the next incoming class to use while they are attending Wellesley College. This is a program that allows current students to give gently used items to the next incoming class, therefore eliminating the very large amount of trashed items at the end of term. Bryn Mawr College is one of the oldest founded women's colleges in the nation. With the current leadership of current college president Kim Cassidy, Bryn Mawr is bringing digital learning opportunities to the institution and partnering with several institutions across the nation to provide blended learning opportunities, curricular and co-curricular opportunities, GSI digital mapping opportunities, and more. With the leadership of President Cassidy, students, faculty, and staff have had the opportunity to attend blended learning conferences, to engage an international community of similar scholars to work with each other and learn from each other. The field of student affairs boasts a holistic approach to student learning, considering the whole student both inside and outside of the classroom. This includes not only students' ability to learn and be intellect, but also emotional, social, physical, moral, and vocational development. As a result, the offices falling under the student affairs at many women's colleges can take on very specific roles. Historically, women have been a marginalized population, and so student affairs professionals at women's colleges can work to address equality, women's rights, and advocacy by helping women gain access to opportunities they may not have otherwise had, particularly outside the classroom. This helps to break stereotypes of women's interests and capabilities by allowing everyone to see how intellectual and diverse women can be. Academic advising or career services can help women advance in majors or find jobs in fields typically dominated by men, while student life and wellness centers can support the women, including transgender women, and the unique challenge they face, both socially, physically, and mentally. For years, top women's colleges have faced a challenge in that the overwhelming majority of high school girls have no interest in attending a women's college. The growing interest in historically Black and women's colleges plays into the debate about safe spaces on university campuses, an ambiguous term that some see as a way for students to feel both emotionally and physically secure. More women's colleges are preparing students to become leaders, and which draws female students to attend. Data is showing an increase in more female students applying to women's colleges. So what do women's colleges offer that is different than co-educational institutions? Women's colleges help young women find their voices, learn how to lean in, and develop the confidence to push back against the challenges so many women face in the workplace and in life. They are places where women find the support and encouragement they need to take risks, push boundaries, and succeed personally and professionally. Women's colleges launched primarily to close the gap between the number of men and women on campus. Although more women now receive degrees than men, gulfs still exist in many degree plans, but women's colleges already possess the know-how necessary to continue tackling inequality issues. So please find some discussion questions that we'd like you to consider for this week. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed.